Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and welcome back to Wham Talk 1600's Operating Theater. It's the only OR in all talk radio. I'm Dr. Dave Janda, broadcasting from our ancillary bunker, linked to our main freedom bunker in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. We're here every Sunday for you from 2 to 5 Eastern, but it doesn't start and stop on Sundays from 2 to 5. We are available 24/7. The Freedom Beacon of Light and Truth is on for you at davejanda.com with extra shows, extra content, extra guests, extra analysis, and archives to all of our shows at davejanda.com. You are always welcome there. And again, I predict you will never leave that site without gaining further insight and knowledge on what is truly happening behind the curtain that the bought-off lamestream fake media will never address. Bottom line, folks, every week in our operating room, whether it's our website, davejanda.com, or this show, we dissect current events that are impacting you, your family, your business, our community, and our country, and we bring to our operating room information guests the bought-off lamestream fake media either ignores because it doesn't fit into their preconceived, politically correct, bought-off agenda, or because, folks, they're petrified. They're petrified of what might happen if they actually tell you what you need to know. In short, in summary, Reader's Digest version, this show is about your freedom, your future, and your life. This radio show has been in existence since October 2010. And one of our foundational concepts and topics that we speak about is your financial and economic freedom and liberty, which the deep state has targeted. My first guest is someone who is a very dear friend to not just me, but to each and every one of you. And the reason is because she puts your safety and security and financial freedom ahead of her own safety and security. Why do I say that? Because Adriana Reed speaks about what you can do to protect yourself financially and to protect your financial freedom and ensure your future is safe and sound from a financial standpoint. She focuses on precious metals, not paper precious metals. Big difference, big difference as we've hammered home over 11 years' time. Physical precious metals. Adriana has been with the Camino Company since 2011 as a trader, and she is one of the principals in the Camino Company. And the bottom line, folks, Adriana is one of the most knowledgeable and honest, underline the word honest, people in the precious metals arena. Camino, C-A-M-I-N-O, CaminoCompany.com. It's my honor to welcome back to our platform on this Father's Day Sunday, Adriana Reed. Adriana, welcome back to the Operation Freedom show and platform.
Thanks for having me again, Dave.
So first question, Adriana, this being Father's Day Sunday, what's the most important lesson or concept you learned from your dad?
Yeah, that's a good one. So for me, I would have to say that work ethic was something that I always learned from my father. to work hard and to work smart, and you can achieve your goals if you do that. And I've always been told that you can do whatever you want to do, but, work ethic is critical, and show up 5 minutes early and, dress for the job that you want and work hard, and it'll pay off. So I would say probably my work ethic probably comes mostly from my dad.
And what about your husband and father of your children, Kyle? Well, what is the most important thing you've learned from Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle is the definition of a hands-on dad, which, we have 4 children. We have 2 boys and 2 girls. And, he's just 100% all in when it comes to being a dad. And, he's at everything that they do. He's their biggest supporter, gets them to all their things, and supports them in school, supports them in their extracurricular activities. And, I can't emphasize enough, he's such a great dad, but I really noticed him being truly a hands-on dad is just amazing.
Well, he is a great guy, as is your dad. And
yes.
And we both have been very fortunate to have wonderful parents and wonderful partners in life. And
absolutely,
it makes these trials and tribulations that we all go through much easier to deal with. Let's talk about the trials and tribulations in the financial market. Adriana, you got a lot of heat for a number of years saying that when you analyze financial markets around our country and around the world, you felt we were heading into a stagflationary economic environment, which is a stagnant economy along with rampant inflation. You were demonized, and that's being kind, demonized for your analysis. In fact, Adriana, you have been found to be 110% correct, and those that listen to you benefited from your wisdom. Now, Adriana, we recently had a Federal Reserve meeting this past week, and Powell, who was the head of the Fed, who was busy telling people for years, if inflation comes, it's going to be transitory. Now he's saying, actually, he sounds a lot, at this point, starting to speak some of the things you spoke about years ago, saying it's no longer transitory. Give us your take of where you think we are in this economy, where we're going, and what people can do to protect themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a couple things that just are red flags in general. When you see an economy be shut down the way it was due to the COVID crisis, is you can always just say automatically red flag, because the government never lets a good crisis go to waste. That's for sure. So we started up all the printing, and we started printing money. Like, we might as well just compare it to M&Ms. I mean, they just printed and printed and printed. And when they do things like that, we know where we're headed. Number one, inflation's obviously going to kick in when you start printing money. Unfortunately, that's a no-brainer, but it doesn't take a Harvard degree to know that one. But apparently, common sense in this country has seemed to be lost. So you start there. Then you used to tell people that, hey, you guys stay home and don't work. Well, that's not how a free economic society works. Free capitalism works. Moral capitalism works. Telling people what they can and cannot do when it comes to business, it's, that never looks good on a resume as far as I'm concerned. So what they did is basically by telling us to go inside and then printing all this money, it was just inevitable that we were going to head towards a stagflationary period. Now, as far as Jerome Powell saying that it was transitory, I mean, you have to look back, historically speaking. You can compare all this. Obviously, we had to make the biggest rate hike since 1994 because inflation has been so bad. CPI numbers are just, not anywhere where they anticipated. And as far as I'm concerned, you have to be kidding me. Just go fill up your gas tank and walk into a grocery store and you can know what inflation's at. Everybody's feeling it, especially the middle class and the families that are, below the middle class line that are suffering the most right now are feeling it the most. And where we're headed, the problem is when you have people who are saying that we didn't know that this was happening, they make the problem way worse than it needs to be in the first place. And, until we end the Fed, as far as I'm concerned, these events are going to keep happening, and a good crisis will benefit the elites. And the central banks, and we have to do something about it. But for this point in time, because we're still, a ways away from that, I feel you can always protect yourself and work against the system so that they don't take you down with them.
Folks, we're speaking with Adriana Reed from the Camino Company. Adriana, Powell and the Fed have always put themselves out there as these omnipotent, all-knowing, all-seeing, all-wise individuals.
Yes.
The same all-wise individuals and omnipotent individuals, kind of like, I don't know, remember Johnny Carson who used to do Karnak, right? Hold the envelope up to their head. Well, it's really a bad Karnak they've now been involved with. They're now saying that, maybe we really don't have a plan. Here's what Powell said after they raised interest rates, as you mentioned, the largest rate increase, 75 basis points that occurred this past week. Here's what he said at his press conference afterwards. Quote, "Our projections are not a plan. No one knows with any certainty where the economy will be in a year," end quote. These are the same people that told you they knew exactly where it was going to be a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even a month ago.
Exactly. The problem is that we're dealing with people who, if you and I are held accountable to the utmost for, by the IRS, by everybody, the powers that be, we're held accountable for all of our actions. You also have to look, Janet Yellen had a press conference, 2 weeks ago? And she said, well, it looks like it's not transitory. Oops. And you're the head of the Treasury, for God's sake. Your job is to keep the country safe, to keep the American people safe, speaking, because there's so much suffering that's caused during economic downturns. And as far as I'm concerned, their projections they're worthless because their numbers are all falsified. You and I both know that inflation's way higher than they're even comparing it to be. They're blaming Russia for all of our problems when it's not a Russian problem. It is a United States problem.
And Adriana, people are saying, well, we might go into a recession. Adriana, I believe we have been in a recession for months. And in fact, I believe we're headed into a depression. Am I off on that?
No, I 100% agree with that. This is being incredibly mishandled. And that is the fine line that you run, is that you could head into a depression. If you look, food and the important things, the necessities that humans need to survive are going to be at the utmost risk. And so I absolutely agree. We've been in a recession for a while. It's just the acknowledgement of it has been the issue. As you know, when you mix the political environment with economics, you have an administration that has no idea what's even going on with people on the ground. This is what you get.
So, Adriana, in times gone by, in recessionary time periods, in depressionary time periods, what has held the value for people as far as an insurance policy has been physical gold and physical silver. Educate our listeners on where we are in the gold and silver market, because as Powell stated that particular statement I read earlier, gold and silver took off. And the day after, when the market was down 700 points, after the gold and silver were up again. So it appears that the formula is holding out and holding true to protect yourself as an insurance policy. Physical gold, and physical silver are what's can potentially save the day. Educate our listeners on where we are in the physical precious metals markets right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the physicals, I am always of the belief that it's an insurance policy. That's what I work with. I help people when they cause these messes. That's my job, is to help you, keep you afloat. And with physical precious metals, you have possession of it, you own it, it's yours. And as far as I'm concerned, no one can take it from you. What we have is a great opportunity, I think, to protect yourself. Inflation is still rampant. And the economy, I believe that we haven't even had the crash that I think that there's potential to come. Even though I already believe us to be in a recession, I do think that it potentially could get worse. And physical precious metals will always work in opposition of the dollar. And with all the printing that we've done and all the debt we've been, accumulating for the past decades, it's going to kind of come to an end for everybody. And we need to be prepared and know what that looks like.
So, Adriana, educate us. Where are we with supply situations in gold and silver, and where are we with the premiums, which the retailer has to pay the wholesaler, where the mints where these are coming from, where the gold and silver is coming from, or the mines where these are coming from. Educate us on where we are in supply and where we are with premiums.
Yeah. So what we've done with premiums recently is I've taken premiums and as low as I possibly can, because they are high still. Demand is out the roof right now for us. And the main thing is just we're working our hardest to get orders into people's hands so that you can have it and, take possession. Right now, there's not really any major delays on shipping, dependent on the item. There's a couple of items that are delayed, but your main, Gold Eagles, Maple Leafs are shipping in pretty good time, 1 ounce bars. The only thing that's delaying us a little bit is the volume of orders. We're getting things out as quickly as possible, though. As far as silver goes, supply is still good. But I do see probably in the next couple of months, as demand picks up more due to the volatility of markets, that, we could go back to more delays. So I do think it is a good time to buy.
So educate our listeners on the process of buying and selling physical precious metals, because I am continually getting emails from people saying, well, I've decided to, as a insurance policy, purchase physical gold and physical silver. Okay, good. Okay, good. Good decision. And then they say, I contacted my stockbroker and said I would like to free up some funds of mine to purchase physical gold and physical silver. And they told me I should not do that, that it's very difficult to do. And if I'm going to do a purchase of gold and silver, I should buy paper gold and silver. Okay.
Yeah.
Educate our listeners on what I would consider is not appropriate advice for people. And
yeah, this is a big one. Okay, so do not get into paper contracts right now. The reason I say that is I am adamant about the delivery of physicals. I believe if you can stand on it, you own it. If you can take possession, you own it. I think we also see that there's mass manipulation that goes on in our markets, especially it revolves around ETFs and futures prices. And I think that it's absolutely critical that you take possession at this point in time. I do believe there are things with technology that are a major concern of mine, especially when you can be one keystroke away from everything being taken from you. I would rather we have to put up a fight as far as taking physicals. I'd be more inclined to say that that's the way I would go as far as them taking possession. But ETFs and electronic traded funds and contracts and mining contracts of the sort, I don't believe them to be real is probably the best way to put it.
So educate our listeners on the process of buying physical gold and physical silver, because our listeners are continually misled by people saying, "Oh, it's so difficult and it's hard to do." It really is the way, but it's important that you structure this. This is how Camino does it, which I have found to be the most honest and transparent process I have come across in the 40 plus years that I have looked at physical precious metals. Educate our listeners on Camino's process so they have a yardstick to judge other purchases by.
Yeah, so you can give us a call. You speak to one of the traders. We go over a plan that works best for you, depending on your spending capability. We'll start there. We'll go over whether or not you want gold, you want silver. We can also answer all of your questions before you make any purchases. There's no pressure to buy. If you want to do some research and give us a call and, figure out what's going on and what the best way to go about is too. Once you're ready to place the order, we'll give you all the prices. We then lock all the prices in at that time, especially with the volatility of the markets. If the markets go up or down, the price that we agree on is what is locked in, and then it will be set at that point in time. You send payment. We just ask that payment be postmarked or wired within 48 hours. Once we receive payment, we hold all checks for 5 business days. If you wire, we hold all wires for 48 hours. And then you get in line to ship. We try to get everything out within 5 business days of your check being deposited or 48 of the wire. But like I said, there are some days that we have a lot of orders that are due to go out. So there is delays on sometimes. But, for the most part, we're adamant about getting it into your hands. We ship everything to you. Everything is insured until it gets to you. We ship typically USPS registered and insured. If you would like to request another form of shipment, we're always open to it. Some people are not comfortable with USPS, and we can work with you on that. Once you take possession of the metals, my main recommendation is to store it in your home. I know some people think that I'm insane for saying that, but I think we really saw, especially during COVID, how quickly a bank can shut down and not have access to our safety deposit boxes. Mm-hmm. I also say that who has the key to your safety deposit box besides you? The answer always is the bank. And the whole point is we have to get out of this banking system. It's corrupt and it's compromised. So, keep things close to home. Another option is also a local depository. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see more and more of them pop up as the climate of precious metals and people's willingness to invest in precious metals has increased. You'll see more and more depositories have popped up, and you can always do a Google search and then head down there and check it out.
And that's one that I've utilized, the Brink system, and there's several other local now. I find that to be very effective, and actually, but it's important, as you say, to make sure that you can have 24/7 access to the facilities.
Exactly.
Then take us through the selling process. Let's
say
absolutely. Some people say, "Oh, I got a wedding coming up. I got to help pay for." Being a good dad, so I need to sell. I need to sell some. So people say, "Oh," the brokers say, "Oh, that's so difficult to do." It isn't. It's essentially the reverse of what you described. Am I right on that?
Exactly. Yeah. So all you would do is give us a call. We're going to quote you prices. You send us material. We send you payment, and it's that simple.
Now, talk about the options people have when it comes to gold and silver when they're purchasing. In our last 2 minutes here, what can they purchase when it comes to physical gold and physical silver?
Yeah, so you can buy anything. We have a pretty broad spectrum of different items that you can buy. So you can start off with, there's fractional gold. So we start in 10th ounce. We also started selling gram bars, which is another option for people who have different spending capability. We go all the way up. The main 1 ouncers are going to be your gold eagles, cougarins, maple leafs. We have kangaroos. We have 1 ounce gold bars. We also have 10 ounce gold bars. And then we also carry kilo gold bars if you want to buy in a more bulk type purchase. And then on the flip side, for silver, there's a couple of items. Number one, if you're a novice, I always recommend at this point in time having some 1 ouncers that are going to get you by if they crash the system with no plan. And 90% silver, which is going to be pre-1965, 64 and before, half dollars, quarters, and dimes. I always recommend having some of that too, which is a great option. Then you can also head into, we do carry silver eagles, silver maple leafs, 10 ounce bars, 100 ounce bars, and 5 ounce bars. For those looking to buy more in a bulk type setting.
And Adriana, how can people get in touch with you and with Camino?
Yeah, so you can reach us at 800-348-8001. We're open 9 to 4:30 on Pacific Standard Time. You can also reach us 24/7 at CaminoCompany.com. We do have an online store with active prices, which is always a great option to purchase. You can just put the purchase through there. But also we do recommend, we do enjoy talking to people too. So give us a call and that way we can get to know you guys. Again, it's 800-348-8001.
Or CaminoCompany.com. Adriana, I'd like to thank you and everyone at Camino for everything you have done, are doing, and will do to ensure folks' financial safety and security and freedom. Folks, you're listening to Operation Freedom. I'm Dr. Dave Janda.